and welcome to episode Infinity Gem, Soul Gem, Thanos, Leeds United of Lesbian Talk. That might not be a real number.
Infinity gems. They're like everywhere. Seriously, I mean, it's just like, they give them away in boxes of breakfast cereals. It's like, no, buy Thanatos O's and you can have a free Infinity Gem. Supplies limited.
Worship the god of death at the same time.
Whatever, Infinity Gems.
Anyway, we've been away from this for a little while.
We haven't forgotten you. We love you all. It just everything exploded and I had finals and her camera broke.
That we had a severe amount of issues, and you should be getting these a bit more often now because Omega no longer has.
I'm gonna do it every week. I promise.
Lots of university stuff. But
support Hagen on Patreon. I'll do it. No, the thing is, because also another thing that has really cut into this before Doug Walker comes down and hits us both in the head for being tardy with putting these out, is the fact that I was doing a video presentation for health psychology, and my editing program really decided it wasn't going to feel like rendering in HD, because my camera shoots in HD, and so I was like, well, I'll search what's wrong with it. Oh, look, someone has tried this. I'll uninstall it and install the new one. And I installed the new one, even though it came out in 2012, and my computer is newer than that. And it said, oh, Windows has detected that you can't run this, boo. And I said, well, fine, then I'll uninstall this and reinstall the old one. And I reinstalled the old one, and then it said, Windows says you are not good enough, boo. So I am basically in the process of building a supercomputer. So I can edit again.
So I'll be visually editing this one.
So if it sucks, it's all her fault. La, la, la.
And there will not be, Omega will not be doing her usual audio editing to it, which gets rid of shit like,
oh, she does it so much, you guys. Or like, she'll be like, but things, but anyway.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of that.
No, you know your most popular one? It's just, but it's, you do that so much, and I just, oh, there's another 2 seconds we're gonna get rid of. Stop doing it now. But yeah, so we love you all, and please forgive us, and watch our podcast, and tell your friends, because nobody cares anymore, nobody watches Lesbian Talk.
The other issue is, guys, I don't know if you realize this, but Lesbian Talk grew out of Skype conversations we'd have because we were living on other sides of the world. So we'd sit, as often as we could, we'd sit there for a few hours and just talk about random stuff that interested us. And Lesbian Talk grew out of that. And now we see each other all the time.
Yeah, so it's like, oh shit, we have to,
it's less of a thing.
And it's also, the problem is, so I use Skype Call Recorder, even though Skype kept threatening me that, oh, after December, this won't work anymore. Lies, it still does. So I can just capture it right in MP3, and then I can edit it right in Audition. And so that's really easy. So, but then the problem is, okay, let's get on Skype with each other from across town. Oh wait, you're having problems with the internet at your house? Oh, that sucks. I will do it tomorrow. Oh wait, we're having issues with the router here at my house. Oh, I guess we'll just do it to camera. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah, so apologies, great apologies. But if you have any subjects that you would like us to talk about or re-talk about, please let us know, because we're sort of flailing in the dark. This episode's going to be a bit of a free-form one.
Right. Because we're always like, what should we talk about? Let's talk about this. And I'm like, no, it's stupid.
Yeah, there's a bunch of subjects I've suggested, and I've been all like...
I don't care.
And I've been all like, Jimmy Screamer Claus, director of Whether Dead Gonna Die, really wants to be on the podcast.
I'm scared.
And I want him on, but Omeka's like, no, I'm too scared.
Where does he live?
America.
Well, he can't get me from here.
Okay, so I'll make an arrangement so let's have him on then. Okay. That one will have to do with just Skype.
Trigger, you know what we'll call that? Lesbian, be like Lesbian Talk episode 90, trigger warning. That'll be the entire thing, just trigger warning.
And any of you guys listening, if you're patrons and you are owed like an appearance on Lesbian Talk, please let me know.
Get in touch. We'll talk to you.
There are so many patrons, I find it hard to keep straight in my head who has what. So please, contact me, let me know.
I'm so popular, I have so many fans, I can't possibly keep track. She said.
I believe Mahan is owed one, so...
Yeah, that's true, he is.
So, Mahan, contact me, make suggestions. You were great to have on anyway, I want to have you on again. Don't know what we'll talk about, though. But this time, let's start off with some Doctor Who news.
No, we should do a small plug first.
Okay.
Because we hung out with the awesome Jill Barrett, formerly, still with Che Apocalypse, but also with Channel Awesome.
Yep.
Who is quite awesome, because she is actually, her family's from Belfast. So she was in Derry, and we hung out.
It was so weird that you've got British Isles-based Tigritig people. You've got a bunch of ones in England. You've got one in Wales, and you've got 2 in Northern Ireland. No, 3 in Northern Ireland, including you.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I'm not. I don't count because I'm an expat.
Yeah, but you still live in Northern Ireland.
Oh, I get this point.
So, what do they have in England? They have Mike, they have Ashens, they have Gurulari, they have Funbrain. We only need like one more, and we're joined up with England. We're like equal.
There's no Scot.
There's no Scottish, and there's no Southern Irish. It's weird.
So Republic and Scotland, get on it. Start making talent
Yeah.
and stuff.
But yeah, Jill
So you
was
should watch
lovely.
her show because her show is very intelligent and talks about really intelligent things.
Yeah. And she was awesome to hang out with. But let's start off with Doctor Who. Because depending if you pay attention to like nerd sites and stuff, some of this is probably you already know of, but this is just for those of you who don't look at nerd sites. Some information that we know for season 9. Clara is still the companion, obviously, even though
Sigh.
though rumored,
Rolling of eyes.
she might leave partway through.
The girl who lied.
And you know that by the end of the year there will be 3 new Who character actors who are in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Is she gonna? Well, she was. Wait, she was. What's his face's girlfriend? Was she not?
Yeah, Clara was in the first Avenger, and Amy was in Guardians of the Galaxy,
Alright.
and David Tennant's appearing in Alias Jessica Jones on Netflix.
Whatever.
You should be impressed. And then the guy who played Rory's like, I'm appearing in Legends of Tomorrow on DC, playing some sort of a guy with like the Atom.
Everyone's like, shut up, Rory. No one loves Rory.
But season 9, apparently, Michelle Gomez is back playing
Yes!
playing the Master.
I was so happy. Like, I know that we probably talked about this before, but it was like a while ago. But literally, when she was like, it's me, the Master, it's me the whole time. I was like, eee! And we were eating curry from the takeaway, and our elderly white cat that belongs to my sister-in-law, she was sleeping in my lap, and she was like, ba-choom, off my... I scared her off. I was like, it was really the Master the whole time.
Apparently when they filmed that scene, she actually said that she was the Rani when they were recording it, just in case any fans were nearby, so they would get misunderstand it.
And like they
And then
ADR'd it
read it.
later.
Yeah, but no one, that information didn't come out. Some people thought she might have been the Rani,
Well,
but more
wait,
people thought she was the Master anyway.
Didn't the Rani get recast?
Yeah. Because Kate O'Hara played, Kate O'Mara played her in the 80s, and now she's been played by Siobhan Redmond on Big Finish.
Oh, there was a big finish. I thought she was recast for the actual thing. I was like, Ronnie be creeping, yo.
But the Rani is almost like a running joke in the New Who, because in fandom, absolutely every character who's a woman is rumored to be the Rani.
Because the Ronnie was awesome. She was like, when she first showed up, she's like, none of your shit, yo.
So many characters. But in the same sort of way, half the characters were rumored to be Davros. It was just quite.
But wouldn't that be funny though? Because like if the Ronnie comes back and you know how she has equal disdain for the Master and the Doctor, I can see them like bitching at each other. Ronnie's like, "Would you just fuck already?" Actually, they wouldn't say that in the BBC. Would you get a room already? And they would be like, "Whoa, awkward," because things.
No, I'd try to annoy the fans even more by casting a guy as the Rani, just to annoy the ones who are annoyed about the.
Well, fair enough, because you can regenerate as another gender, so
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's because there's so many people who are annoyed that the idea that the Master is now a woman. It's like, oh, I'll show you the Rani as a man, and just to compound their annoyance. But we've got that. We also know that apparently every single story in season 9 is a 2-parter.
So this could be a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it'll broadly be a good thing. It means you got to come up with less stories overall.
Yeah.
And it lets stories and have natural length to breathe. That means every single story is basically going to be the average length of stories from classic Who. I am so looking forward to that. But on the other hand, this is another Stephen Moffat gimmick. If you look at his seasons, he quite often does gimmicks.
Yeah.
Like, season 7, every single one of them was like it was a single parter, and each of them was like a little mini movie. It was supposed to be like all separate, and they even changed the
quote unquote mini, like the movie posters for them were really good though.
I know they weren't, and every
They
single
were.
They,
I like the posters. Don't kissing me won't make it different.
and whenever Doctor Who came up, they the title it was always different for the story. It was like, we're doing a little gimmicky thing here, and then season 5 was all
mercy.
And then season 5 was all self-contained and things, and then season 6 was like 2 halves. It still didn't work. He does. Moffat likes to do different things each season, which is admirable, but at the same time, it's gimmicky as hell. Plus,
yeah, well.
plus season 9, if I recall correctly, Peter Kill Them in Harness is doing 2 episodes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll have learned his lesson this time and stay away from abortion.
What was that lesson?
That
Don't write Doctor Who.
well. Don't shoehorn in. Maybe this one will be about like immigrants or, fracking. Fracking is good, the doctor said. Why, I endorse it all the time.
This one's against marriage equality.
Somehow. The doctor's like, Daleks should not be marrying other Daleks. Why think of the children?
This monster that lives in the sun is gonna die if people get gay married.
Yep. Actually, some conservatives said that the other day that if America gets gay marriage all over the place, it will make it, quote-unquote, a huge ghost town. I don't know where everyone's intending to go.
Yeah.
Like, China? I don't know.
The most, economically, the most anti-gay people in America tend to be the poorest.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones who have the least money to move anywhere else.
I don't know. And then everyone was like, oh, well, another person saying, yeah, but if gays are allowed to marry, it will lead to millions of abortions. And I'm like,
no one has less abortions than gay people.
Yeah, but then I'm like, how is that, like, affecting the abortion rate? I mean, like, I didn't really understand the logic. Like,
they're committing a fallacy, and I can't remember the name of the fallacy, but their fallacy is every single thing they don't like is somehow connected, instead of realizing that the thing that connects all the things they don't like is them.
oh, yeah, like the Amtrak crash. Apparently the engineer is gay, or was gay. I believe he died. And they're like, oh, well, he crashed it because gays are have 50 squillion times more mental illness and all this kind of stuff. But actually, the NTSB and the FBI are investigating because there was significant damage to the part of the trans windscreen where the engineer sits. And apparently, people heard him screaming that he'd been hit by something. He thought he was hit by a bullet or a rock. And it's not uncommon for kids to throw rocks and shoot at trains and stuff. So the FBI is investigating if, in fact, the reason they were going so fast was because he had become incapacitated by something that came through the windshield. Huh. So this actually could be not the accident we think it was, but another kind of accident. But still, it doesn't matter. Fox News says the gays. Blame the gays. And that's what the doctor says. Amen.
Yeah. But
you see, Clara, the TARDIS crashed because of the gays. Except for in a Scottish accent. Or a Glasgow accent.
The, also appearing in season 9 is Maisie Williams.
Who's she?
She plays Arya Stark on Game of Thrones.
Oh.
And I think this is the only acting I've ever come across her doing that's not in Game of Thrones. And she's playing, rumor is she's somehow connected to Clara. Maybe she's a splinter of some sort. I have no idea, but her outfit looks proper dodgy.
What do you mean proper dodgy?
Proper dodgy.
How dodgy?
Very dodgy. Looks a bit...
She dressed like a chav?
Looks a bit shit, mate.
Oh. Like modern shit? Like Victorian shit?
Just looks a bit shit.
Okay, well, whatever.
Not too impressed.
Oh, I see. Well, you're never impressed. I mean, come on.
I'm sometimes impressed. I was
Never
really impressed whenever I turned up in that cameo in, Flatland.
Who did that, by the way?
I don't know. There was someone, if you look at the Fuck the Demon to Hagen Tumblr, you can see someone photoshopped me from my Manborg review into that episode. It was great.
Lol.
And thank you for that work. It was beautiful.
I want to see more stuff with you now. I want to see the Cyber Brigadier come back. You had a good idea for that, because we were talking about it on the phone the other day.
Yeah. Basically, in the books, the Cyber Brigadier doesn't die. He was somehow regenerated into being a younger version of himself and lived until 2150 or something like that. And I guess I had this great idea that Cyber Brigadier could off-screen go off and get upgraded or something, and then or resurrected, or maybe upgrading the cybernetic parts so it looks entirely human on the outside, and therefore you can recast him and have him wandering around being the Brigadier again.
You'll come back and be like, don't worry, old daughter of mine.
And then
it's me, the Brigadier.
And then, as necessary, his body could change back into robotic form, because it would still be robotic. It just looks human,
yeah.
And still able to go off and do Iron Man-ish things.
Yeah, that would be a really nice, comic book split off or something.
But also, the rumor is that Stephen Moffat is going to stay until possibly all the way through season 10. On the one hand, Moffat is reasonably safe pair of hands for the show. He's not incompetent. He's just crap in areas, and he's very, very samey, and he tends to repeat himself a lot.
It has curly hair.
So it's better than, say, giving it to this random drug addict living on the streets right now and saying, you're in charge of Doctor Who, and then suddenly we've got a bunch of giraffes running around. I don't know why that would happen.
Why would a drug addict want giraffes?
I don't know, he's just like, I want giraffes in the TARDIS!
Have you ever actually met a drug addict?
Yes. I'm just trying to think of random things. Like someone who it's a bad idea to give the show to. I mean, he's safer hands than a lot of people, but I'm a little bit sad because I'd quite like to see someone else take over. The guy who did Flatline.
Who would be like your dream showrunner? Like, if you could have your way and they'd be like, tell us.
They have to still be alive?
Yes.
Okay. Because, barring myself.
Oh, obviously.
Honestly, if there's a couple people who I don't know who I'd get in charge to be, in charge of the show, because then I prefer Classic Who, where you had a head producer and a head scriptwriter, and they had to argue with each other.
They had to. It's like the law.
Well, yeah,
they have to have like Prime Minister's question time.
They both had to agree on stuff, and it led to the writer's inclinations being restrained a bit more, which I felt is a better way to do it. I mean, like shit like the Pigmen from Daleks of Manhattan would never have got through in Classic Who because the producer and the writer would yell at the writer and throw.
This is stupid. No, it's not, old Todger.
And throw bottles at his head.
Really?
Probably. But if I could choose some writers to work on the show who'd never worked on it before, Paul Donovan.
Who's he?
Creator of Lex.
Oh, right.
And Jeffrey Hirschfield, who writes Lex, who plays 790. I would love to see them working on Lex. I would have loved Lex Jiggeroff to write even more, but he's dead. Amber Benson. Because she writes novels.
You just have a crush on her.
Well, she's awesome, but she also writes novels, and she writes like animation and things and comics.
Oh, okay.
So I'd love to see them work on it. But if out of any of the crop of current New Who writers who have already worked on the show before, I'd suggest giving the guy who did Flatline and Mummy and the Orient Express.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Two of the best episodes in season 8, and he did them both, and he'd never written for Who before. I'm just like, this guy is so different from New Who in the way that he's accidentally recreating classic Who feel. Give it to him.
Yeah, but the thing is that what if bringing more of a classic thing into it actually hurts younger viewership? Like girls are like, oh, he's not cute and Scottish anymore, boo. And now it's not even fun anymore, boo. And they stop watching.
It's not so much about that. It was the feel of the stories themselves.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to know. So now that the Tories are in charge, could they actually defund Doctor Who? Could they tell the BBC you have to get rid of it?
No, they can't. What they can do is do a death of 1,000 cuts to the BBC via funding, but the BBC eventually might have to get rid of Doctor Who. But Doctor Who is a money earner for the BBC.
Couldn't they just create a public company under their auspices? A publicly funded production company, or just a privately funded production company, and then sell the rights to that production company.
I'm pretty sure they can, because there's BBC Worldwide who have helped funding various things, and they're owned by the BBC, but they're privately funded.
Yeah, okay, so it will still be safe.
Doctor Who, as long as the ratings keep up, and people all over the world buy the DVDs and the tchotchkes and the little action figures and stuff, we're perfectly fine.
Yay!
And I got the feeling Doctor Who is going to do even better in America in the next couple of years after this Lego Doctor Who comes out.
Well, yeah, because apparently Lego, the Wii's going to have a kind of... Is it I forget what... It might be the Wii, but they're going to have this Lego thing. It's going to be like Amiibos and stuff like that. And... No, don't do it! It'll make the noise! No, you ruined it! Oh, Jesus. I would be able to edit that out. Oh, God. But yeah, so it's going to have a Lego thing, and the Doctor Who set is going to be a part of that. Which I'm like, but see, now that they have the rights, it's going to open it up for a Lego Doctor Who. I would play the shit out of that.
Yeah, well, I'm really hoping for a Lego Doctor Who game.
Oh, that'd be
Although
great.
I hope it's a good Lego game and not like Lego Batman 3 or Lego The Hobbit, which was not really great.
Or
but
Pirates of the Caribbean, which is
yeah.
basically point-and-click adventure gaming.
Yeah, I want something that's as good as Lego Star Wars, Lego Marvel Heroes, you know.
Well, because the Star
Lego
Wars
original
way would
Batman.
be the best way to do it, because then you could start in like the center console of the TARDIS.
Yep.
And then you could have 12 different doorways to go through, and that would be each different Doctor's levels and stuff like that.
And the level of the central part of the TARDIS, depending on every single time you play, it could look like a different TARDIS interior.
Yeah. And here's the thing: is there's about a squillion different people to unlock and collect. There's like every single monster, all the companions, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and you do one story based on a story from the show for each Doctor,
Yeah.
and then you can replay them with the different Doctors. There is a hell of a lot of possibility there.
And then you can have like how you have New York City in Lego Marvel. You could have modern day London if you just want to run around and blow things up and get spogs and do little side missions.
Yeah, and you could have little portals to different time periods and stuff.
Your portal to London could be where? Earl's Court.
You could, yeah, because there is a TARDIS in Earl's Court. But I wouldn't be so happy with having the open air London thing, because it's modern day London, which is just why.
Well, you wouldn't go there for a level. That would be your place to go there and blow things up and get spogs.
I suggest they build more
It's
levels
all
instead of
about
that.
spogs.
I suggest they build more levels
I need
instead
things
of
to
just that.
destroy, and money comes out of people when they die. Money comes out of everything. If you didn't want Captain America running around Central Park blasting bushes, you shouldn't have made everything out of money.
Omega absolutely hates Marvel, but she loves Lego Marvel because of Spogs.
Little Spog, I have to get them all. You gotta catch them all. And they'll be like, quickly, Hulk, come with us to do this really important mission, or otherwise everything will explode and die. And I'm like, too busy knocking down streetlights to get Spogs. It is. I have to bash everything. But anyway, so.
But we're about to go to see Mad Max tonight.
Mad Max, tell them exactly how this came to be.
Well, it was my mother's birthday about 4 days ago, and
I didn't get her a card. Shit.
It's okay.
Well, you get her a present. I'll just come tomorrow.
That's
a
okay.
box from America. That's another story for another day.
She's a jolly lady. She's in her mid-60s, so she's an old school Mel Gibson fan. As in, she was a Mel Gibson fan before it was revealed how much of a crazy motherfucker he is.
So she is a fan of his butt.
And she is,
like my old English teacher?
Yes.
Okay.
But she is no longer as much of a fan of Mel Gibson because, she realizes how much of a crazy person he is.
Mm-hmm.
However, for her birthday, have decided to take her out for a meal and to take her to Mad Max 4. She wasn't even a big fan of the Mad Max films. I think she's just like, oh, I'll be nice and I'll go to see your horrible film with you.
I get dinner for free.
Yeah, so...
Spoiler alert, my mother-in-law doesn't actually sound like that.
So we've got me, Omega, Teddy, Avatar Decent Humor, a bunch of minions, a bunch of people all going with this little old lady to go to see Mad Max 4 tonight.
Well, not everybody's going to dinner. So the place we're going to dinner is actually inside the movie bowl. So they have two places to eat in there. They have like
the American Cafe,
which is not American at all. Which is basically you have a choice of hamburger, hot dog, chicken burger, and chips with curry sauce, and that's it. You cannot have anything else. It's all the things they have there, and soda. And then you have Martha's Vineyard.
Ice cream.
And ice cream, yeah. I meant like actual savory foods.
Okay.
Then you have Martha's Vineyard, which is like this kind of Italian-ish kind of like fancy restaurant inside of the Brunswick. And the first time we went there was around Christmas. We're like, I'll take you out. Let's go. And so we went to go, and they had this big sign that's saying, no hoodies and trainers. Trainers is the UK way of saying sneakers. Allowed. And we're standing there, and I'm wearing jeans. I mean, nice jeans. My black trainers, and my Omega hoodie. And I was like, but I'm an adult. I have a credit card. So I had to send Hagen up to secretly ask if it was alright. And they were like, what did they say, actually?
I just asked if they had a table, and then it was fine. Because I was wearing a hoodie as well, but I was wearing it underneath a coat.
Yeah,
so I was doing a Silent Bob thing.
I thought that they were... And later I found out from other locals that's actually just a technicality so they can kick out kids if they don't want them in there.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But I was like, I'm a real adult and I have a credit card.
And I want to buy food, expensive food. Our local cinema, we have 2 local cinemas, actually, technically we have 3. The Brunswick one, it's really good because if you add a theme park to it and then you would have all of the entertainment things for the entire fucking half of the country. because you've got a bowling alley, you've got a big cinema, you've got like a little ballpark for kids, you've got a casino, you've got a cafe, you've got an arcade, including one with tickets and like skee ball and stuff.
Actual decent prizes. Yeah, but
Yeah.
the skee ball is lame. It's kiddie skee ball, really. I mean, let's be honest.
And you got this big, fine restaurant, and you got
A pool hall that's got
a pool hall as well, all together. So it's like,
it's really nice. The only thing is it's the only thing to do in town, so everybody goes there. So if a movie gets out, you might have to wait for a while for a cab. Also, the last time we went there, I'm like, why is everybody decked out for prom? And it was because it was one of the First Communion Saturdays. So like everybody was there, like little kids to old people to teen. Everybody was there like decked out as if they were going to prom. And I was like, well,
we have 2 other cinemas.
yeah, there's the one on Strand, which isn't bad.
Yeah, it's not as good. It's I do not like their
here
classism
we
of
go.
making us pay an extra £1 to get a decent seat, and their food is not as good as the Brunswick.
That's true. Because the Brunswick, there's a Ben and Jerry stand right there. So if you were like, gee, I just think that I need an ice cream sundae as I sit and watch the previews, there you go.
Yeah, ice cream, Ben and Jerry's in cinema.
And the thing is, I do what I always do. Is I don't want to. I'll just get a bottle of water. Well, I should probably. I'll get a thing of Star Mix. I'll get a Haribo Star Mix, and then I don't drink the water, and I forget to eat the Star Mix, and I end up taking them home, and I eat her popcorn instead.
Yeah, it's just really ironic. I would prefer to get a medium popcorn and a large drink, but it's cheaper to buy a large popcorn and a large drink.
So I'm
than to
doing
do
you a
that.
service, really, because I wouldn't eat enough popcorn to justify a small.
Yeah.
So, this is such an interesting podcast, you guys. Aren't you excited?
This is
that
what
you
happens
know
when we don't have
how
a subject. We sort of meander.
eat things.
Oh, we have a third cinema in the city.
Where is it?
It's at the Nerve Center.
I have no idea where that is.
It's beside the walls.
Oh.
It's on the inside of the walls. Basically, it's a little media center that started up about 15 years ago, and they have a cafe, they have band practice things, they have recording studios. It's that sort of thing. But they have a cinema, but it's not a proper cinema. It's they play DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff during the film
it's like
festival.
a theme.
But it's one of these small ones where they play interesting films that are already out.
Oh, okay.
It's that sort of one. I assume they get rights for it and all. And they appear in the film festival quite a bit.
True this.
Haven't been there in a long time though. But just going into this, honey, you haven't seen any of the Mad Max films, have you?
I think I might have seen one like 20 years ago. I'm old. I'm old. I forget these kinds of
Did you
things.
see Weird Science?
No.
No, because
I told you, when I was a kid, there were so many movies that I was not allowed to watch that, like, literally, I had to watch them in the 90s, like, on the sly, and then I forgot about them mostly, because it's been a long time.
Well, you should watch it because Robert Downey Jr.'s in it. Robert Downey Teenager. But also, there's a part of it where some characters from Mad Max 2 turn up.
Oh.
They just appear and destroy the house because of magic.
Oh.
But, okay, Mad
I
Max...
remember watching this one movie from the 80s. It was about this kid who was, like, his mom was, like, a crazy religious person and thought he was doing drugs or something, but, like, he was... And I think he was at uni, but he was also still living at home or something. But he, like, got... Like, of course, an experiment went wrong, and he got, like, psychic powers. And then, but he mostly used them to, like, lift girls' skirts and stuff like that.
Zap.
Is that what it was? And
I
there
think
was,
that's
like,
called Zap.
big thing at the end where there was, like, a huge, big blowout at, like, the prom. But it was, like, it was a comedy, though. It wasn't, like, a...
I'm pretty sure that's Zap. There's
Okay.
there's Zap and there's Zap again.
Well, we watched it. Me and Becky Slosky did it on a sleepover, and we did it to my mom, and I was like, watching a bad movie. Eating gummy bears, getting away with it, because Mom's not here.
But to give you some information on the Mad Max films.
She even put her arm around me, folks.
Yes.
It's about to get serious.
Now, the first one came out in 1979, I believe, and it was an Ozploitation film. All of them are actually technically Ozploitation, but still, features a young police officer, Max Rokotansky,
That's Headroom.
played by Melvin Gibson,
No.
who the society is collapsing and shit's going down, and Max is
Oops, sorry about that.
bringing and destroying the
He's the only one.
audio feng shui
Stop
of our
it.
podcast.
I told you. He's the only one who can save us from the social degradation because of gay marriage.
Basically, society is collapsing, and he's a police officer, so he wears leather and drives around in a really fast car because police officers do that. And his
You know,
commanding
like they-
officer
And
is,
then does he shoot unarmed black people?
Well, it's Australia, so I'm pretty sure he does it off screen if he's in the outback.
He shoots unarmed Aborigines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Is anyone named Bruce?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We'll have to have a Bruce count.
If I can remember correctly, Mad Max, all the characters have really weird names except for Max. But his commanding officer is Roger Ward.
Roger Ward!
Yes, from Turkey Shoot. He's so awesome. Oh, and fans, there is a Turkey Shoot remake. I have not seen it yet. It doesn't seem to be out, and I want to see it, even though it looks like the Running Man. I'm like, you took Turkey Shoot and turned it into the Running Man? Disappoint.
I tell you, this building is unsafe.
But basically, Max gets into, kerfuffles.
Kerfuffles?
Yes, and troubles, issues with, some biker gangs, and kills someone, and then they, kill his wife and kid, and then he goes mental and becomes a Mad Max, and kills all of the biker gangs, and that's the end of the film.
It'd be better if that was cut with the one about the real guy from the Outback. I forget what it's called, but it was, Troma put it out.
Oh, Mad Dog Morgan.
Yeah, I watched it.
Love Mad Dog Morgan.
I got shocked, though, because I thought that they didn't have, like trees and forests in Australia. I thought that, it was just a big desert, the Outback, with, occasional a tree like the savannah. I was like, oh, look, they've got grass and everything.
It depends where you are, really.
Oh.
But, then
if
comes...
you're from the Outback, write the show.
Then comes The Road Warrior, which features, there must have been a big space between 1 and 2, because suddenly society has completely collapsed. Everyone's living in these sort of crazy war bands and wearing American football armor and spikes and leather and with crazy metal masks and stuff. With no real explanation. Collapse has happened, and Max is wandering around. He's still in his uniform, but it's all shredded and stuff with his police car, which is completely battered. I got the feeling there's at least 1 or 2 films worth of stuff has happened between 1 and 2, but we're never going to find out what exactly happened. And he helps these people, fighting against these other groups, and it looks like a big gay fetish video at times. And then the third one, which is set even years and years and years later, it's suggested that Fury Road might take place between 2 and 3. We don't really know.
Because Max looks decidedly young in the trailer?
And yeah, in the new one he's 35. Well,
he could run for president.
In Beyond Thunderdome, it was meant to be 20 years after Mad Max 2 or something. He was meant to be at least 45, maybe 50. And he's even got grey hair and everything.
Oh.
But it features Bartertown, led by Anti-Entity, with Master Blaster.
I'm Anti-Entity, dear.
Played by Tina Turner.
Oh.
And Max gets embroiled in doing shit there, and they has to go off and rescue children. Now, Beyond Thunderdome is basically viewed as the return of the Jedi of the things. Not only because it's last, but because it's deliberately more kid-friendly.
Oh.
And I really liked Beyond Thunderdome, at least the first half of it, before the children really became a big thing, because then I didn't give a shit about them. Everybody go to Tomorrowland! Oh, fuck you. But that's the 3 ones you got. George Miller did all 3 of them, although he only co-directed the 3rd one, I believe. I think someone died, and he was basically could only handle doing half of it.
Oh.
And now George Miller's come back for Fury Road, which they're not entirely sure if it's actually set in the same continuity as the first ones. Originally, it was meant to star Mel Gibson, and it would have been set after Thunderdome. And
we know about him.
And I almost wish it was, because based on what I've read about it, Max seems to be completely destroyed and damaged by everything, as though this is supposed to be Unforgiven or something. So I almost wish he was Mel Gibson. But because it's Tom Hardy...
Everyone got mad at me because I'm an asshole.
Yeah. We don't know. It might be set in the same continuity, might be set between 1 and 2, 2 and 3, might be set after 3, even though it's 20 years too young. Or...
Wasn't he the one that called a female officer Sugar Tits?
Yep.
Mad Max returned to Sugar Tit Mountain.
But it might be a reboot. I'm leaning towards recasting in the same universe, like James Bond or something, rather than a reboot, personally. And this one's featuring the villain from the first one, playing a crazy religious guy, and there's Charlize Theron has only got 1 arm. It'll be great.
Yeah, apparently the Mary Sue has called this a visual orgasm.
Yeah, and I've seen the first 3, and this one from the trailers. It's like every single Mad Max film gets visually more fucking insane than the last.
Everybody on my social media that's seen it has liked it, and a few people have become obsessed with it. So I guess it's a good sign.
Yeah.
I mean, so
not often a long delayed sequel gets this sort of good reactions,
I guess that's true. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine, and you'll of course have heard our impressions of it because we'll do a vlog. So
Yeah, we'll be doing a vlog when we get back. And at some point I might show you the first 3 films.
yeah, I'll get around to it. I'll probably this summer.
Especially number 1, because you got... Everyone else is excited that Toe Cutter is in this film, and I'm like, okay, Hugh Keays-Byrne, happy, but Toe Cutter, I'm sorry. No. I'm not excited to see Toe Cutter again. I'm excited to see Sergeant fucking Gross from The Man from Hong Kong.
Psh.
Because that's who he was. Before he was Toe Cutter, he was Sergeant Gross, the guy who in my intro kicks the camera.
Hey, don't give me any shit.
The guy who Don't Give Me the Shit is said to.
Hey.
And then Roger Ward.
Shit. We had to walk around Foyle's side saying that a few times the other day.
Yeah. And Roger Ward, the other cop from Man from Hong Kong, is Mel Gibson's superior in Mad Max. So it's like, that was made several years after Man from Hong Kong. So that must be like a bit of a reunion.
Hey, buddy, hey, you, except with an Australian accent.
Yeah. And I'd kind of like to see George Miller. Okay, George Miller, who made the Mad Max, he makes the Mad Max films, and apart from that, he tends to make movies, cute-looking movies with animals. He made
Babe, did he not?
He made, I believe, Babe 2, and he made Happy Feet.
I never saw Happy Feet.
So,
because apparently, like, this one girl I knew, okay, this was the girl that Alpha was based off of, like, the whole thing back in the day.
mm-hmm.
This horrible, horrible bitch. But, like, she wrote this whole blog post about how Happy Feet was, like, racist, and it was, like, a racist allegory. And so I did some Googling, and, like, you know how, like, oh, you know, such and such in Star Wars is supposed to be this race and blah, 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 and, like, you have a lot of opinions on that? Like, hers was the only post that came up. So I think it might have been just her.
Was this an idea she had?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen it, but
Me either, so
like George Miller, he's, I believe he's about 70. And I'd kind of like to see him eventually start to lose his mind and start making...
What a horrible thing to say!
No, this would be funny if...
No, it'll be grand.
He's got these 2 modes of filmmaking, and I kind of want to see him mix them together by accident. So, like, he makes Mad Max 5, and suddenly there's, like, you know, talking animals everywhere. Or he makes Happy Feet 3, and, like, you know, suddenly there's guys in cod...
I think there's been a 2.
No, there is.
Oh.
I makes Happy Feet 3, where there's suddenly these guys with big cod pieces and, like, chainsaws for dicks coming in and start sawing people up. It'd be great!
Yeah.
Of course, you know, this could be, you know, George Miller's...
That noise you hear is the rain on my roof. Fortunately, it's not the rain dripping through my roof yet.
But, this is, the review's been so good, I'm really looking forward to this. But, just imagine if this was deliberately going to be George Miller's last action film, and he just came in there and be like, "Hello, I'm George Miller, I just thought to remind you what action films should be like. Now I'm going to go off and make Happy Feet 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and then drops the mic and walks out, and everyone's like, "Oh, fuck you, George Miller, make more." He's like, "No! Animals! Pretty things!"
I like penguins. But anyway, we should probably wrap up because we're running out of time.
That Miller, it was in development hell for ages and it never happened, but he was meant to make a superhero movie.
Oh.
In about 5, maybe 8 years ago, he was supposed to make a Justice League of America movie, which would have been like Batman, Superman, and all that. He did casting on it, and Hugh Keays-Byrne, Sergeant Gross and Toe Cutter and all, he was meant to play the Martian Manhunter.
Okay.
I am sad that didn't happen. I would kind of like Miller to be given either a James Bond movie directing job, possibly Star Wars. He would be a good fit for... He'd be a good fit for the DC Cinematic Universe too, less so for Marvel because they like to control people, but, you know, their darker shit, yeah. Please, do more stuff, Miller, you're great!
Yeah, but nobody cares about DC. They don't have the license to print money that Marvel does.
And if this comes out, you know, maybe this will encourage people to make more, you know, Australian exploitation, big budget movies. Like, you know, Brian Trenchard Smith is still about. Someone give him a big budget. That'd be great.
You should tweet at him.
Yeah. I mean, I just watched a movie where he had conquistadors fighting a T-Rex.
Like you do.
Yeah!
But anyway, that's been us for this week. Like I said, it's kind of haphazard because I'm not doing the editing, so it's outside of my controls.
Sorry.
Yeah, well. But, we'll see you next week. Probably. Hopefully. Something like that. And I've been the Omega, and honey, who do you have want to have been this week?
Brian Trenchard Smith.
Well, obviously.